If you want access to my entire library of past webinars, as well as access to future ones, head over to daringventuresathome.com or click the link in the description below.
The awareness alone is not enough. Okay, what we actually have to do is change our behavior in light of the awareness. Now, I pulled out 5 behaviors. We're going to try to look at how you would move through these stages around these behaviors. And so the behavioral targets, and there are more, I just picked these 5, are nurturing. How do we take care of each other in appropriate ways? Merging. Okay. In other words, how do we bring our lives together but not get lost in each other? How do I merge my life with you without losing my life? How do I become one without you or with you without losing my individuation? Idealizing, which is to say, what I want to do there is I want to lift you up, but I want to be in reality. Devaluing, which is to say, I don't want to keep you on a pedestal. I want to be in reality. And then controlling, which is to say, I know how to both exercise and suppress control for the good of the relationship. So we're gonna look at each one of these. Okay, so we're gonna start with nurturing, and it starts with romantic nurturing. The task, okay, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to secure a bond. We want to feel connected. We want to secure the bond through, oh my goodness, we're so close. And we need to form that couple boundary. That is the time in which a couple is established as a couple, as a unit, where they begin to take on this shared identity as a unit, where other people begin to see them as a couple. All right. So I'm nurturing this cocoon, the couple bubble, as Stan Tatkin calls it. Then comes the disappointment. And I've got to integrate the disappointment. I've got to recognize that I'm angry here because I've got these needs that aren't being met. And so here's what might happen at this point. I might go back into the cocoon, right? So in other words, being separate is too threatening. So I might try to go backwards into that romance, into the cocoon. And now I'm going to avoid any differences. Or I might get stuck in my anger of the disillusionment. You tricked me. You weren't the person who I thought you were. Now, again, let me be clear. I'm not talking about someone who actually lies or actually withholds and deceives their partner. I'm just talking about when I think that my partner deceived me because they aren't actually showing up as the fantasy who I cast them to be in my own mind. Next, after that, we have to have a differentiation of needs. All right, so in the romance, it's all kinds of nurturing going on, all kinds of caretaking. And oh my goodness, it feels so good. Ooh, all right. Then though, wait a minute. You're not perfect. You're seeing me as not perfect. We're feeling the separation. Now this differentiation begins to happen. And what I have to do is I have to differentiate the needs of myself and my partner and the relationship. I can't confuse my needs with her needs. I can't just assert my own needs without listening to her needs. I can't prioritize my needs over her legitimate needs. I can't fall into you take care of me or I take care of you. That's not an appropriate way to handle these needs either. So I'll take care of my needs in adult ways and I'll take care of your needs in a parental way because you're not taking care of your own needs. And bottom line here is I have to stop confusing myself and my partner. We're two different people and that's okay. In fact, it's to be desired. All right. Then after that is reciprocal nurturing. Once I stop confusing myself and my partner, once I get clear on where I end and my partner begins, now we can try this whole reciprocal nurturing thing. So here I'm going to learn how to ask to have my needs and wants met. I'm going to learn how to give when asked. I'm going to learn how to receive when offered. I'm going to learn here. I'm got to work through all my fears of intimacy. All right. I mean, family of origin issues can be all through here, but really heavy in this reciprocal nurturing part when I'm trying to learn how to do this. Okay. Is it safe for me to share my vulnerable needs with you? Is it really safe? And then triadic nurturing, but a baby comes along. And here's and you can actually go through this even if you never have a child, if you're a couple without a child. Basically, it's learning to manage a third. What's a third? A third is anything outside of the dyad. So the two individuals make up a dyad. That's the coupleship, is the dyad. A dyad is one two-person system. So we're not two one-person systems operating independently, trying to, somewhat live parallel lives together. We are one two-person system. Everything else is a third. How do we manage them? Work can be a third. Friends can be a third. Extended family can be a third. Pornography can be a third. Children can be a third. So learning how to manage thirds is triadic. Fur babies count. Yes, they do. Thank you, Conrad and Kathy. Yeah, getting a pet. So I guess actually my wife and I have done some of that. We got a pet, and we've had to work through things about friends and family and all that kind of stuff. So I misspoke there a minute ago. All right. So that's what this would look like with the process of nurturing, learning how to nurture one another and also manage the thirds in our lives that inevitably need nurturing as well. Okay. We're going to look at another issue. Let's look at merging our lives. One shared life. Okay. It starts out as oneness. This is the romantic cocoon. We are the same person. Oh my gosh. We have so much in common. And you know what? The things that are different, they're where we make up for each other. We make each other whole. Ugh. Okay. Seriously, that just makes me want to barf even saying it out loud. But that's where it starts. Okay. It's where it starts. And then what happens next is we're not the same. And we can't be the same. And wait, we still have separate jobs. Wait, sometimes we actually have to do things not together. Sometimes we don't want to do things together. Sometimes I want to do this and you want to do that. And you don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. So here, in deflation, what happens is at first I'm noticing the differences. And so what I might do is I might go back. I might try to go backwards, but it'll never work. I'll never be satisfied trying to go back into the love cocoon. It's split open. Sorry. What could happen is I get angry. And so I start to try to use anger to make you who I need you to be so we can be merged and be one again. Or I just fall into a depression and a withdrawal and I start to avoid because I can't tolerate the difference. I can't tolerate it. I can't accept it. So what I have to do is I have to grieve the loss of the love cocoon. It was great while it lasted, but it's gone. It's gone now. And we're not the same people, and we're going to hurt each other, and we're going to be different. And we are different. So accepting the separateness, then accepting needs for closeness and separateness. So here, what I'm saying here is I understand I have certain needs about closeness and separateness. And guess what? My partner has his or her own needs about closeness and separateness. And that's okay. All right. That's okay. And I'm working through my fear of closeness or separateness, and my partner's working through his or her fear of closeness or separateness. And in the end, what I'm beginning to do, every time I do that, what I'm saying that there is every time I take some separateness when I need it, and I come back to you when you need closeness, and I allow you to take separateness, and I ask you to come near to me when I need close. Every time we navigate this terrain of closeness and separateness, I am beginning to internalize, like it says on the slide, and I'm internalizing a close, loving relationship. And here's what I mean by that. at the level of my nervous system and in my implicit memory, it's getting programmed into me. I can be close when I need to be close. I can have distance when I need to have distance or when my partner needs distance, and we're still okay. So now once I begin to accept that we have different needs around this, now I begin to regulate and expand this experience of being close and further apart. I'm focused on not being too much together, not being too much apart, establishing an open line of communication and acceptance of those needs. And look, we find different ways to be together. Okay, one way to be together is deep conversation. Another way to be together is watching a TV show. It can't be all one and none of the other. One way to be apart is I go, ride a horse in Montana for a week. Another way to be apart is, I go out in the backyard and I throw the ball to the dog. There are different ways to be apart. I read a book, you read a book, we're sitting in the same room, we're together and we're apart. So there's this range and there's all these options, and we are learning, we're experimenting about let's see the closeness. Let's expand the distance, never in ways that are actually harmful to the relationship, though we might bump up against those, and that's a learning experience. You know what? 10 days was too long. I don't ever want to do a 10-day sales trip, again. Even if it means total more nights per month away, I'd rather have one night at home in the middle of the run. Great. You've learned, you're growing, you're learning. And so all of this means you're developing flexibility in the proximity needs of yourself and your partner, needing closeness, needing separation. And again, you're reaching for this last stage of mutuality. So it can't be one person doing all the flexibility, having all the flexibility. No. Can't be that. You're reaching for the attaining of mutuality here. So nurturing commonalities, understanding the differences, creating compromise between us. All right. And so now this task of merging, we've been through a developmental process where we know how our couple bubble works. We know the limits of its expansion. We know, you know how bubbles, like, you ever hold a bubble, you're blowing it and you blow more and it gets bigger and you see it's just about to burst. And so what do? You blow less and you let it shrink down a little bit more, and it kind of firms up the boundaries of the bubble, and then you blow in more air again. We know our couple bubble. We know how much separation, we know how much closeness, and we've got some flexibility and some give and take there. I just made up that bubble thing. I got to remember that. Y'all help me remember that. Okay. All right. That's the merging.